Hola, ¿cómo estás? Welcome to the Redesign with Prima group on Facebook. My name is CeCe from CeCe ReStyled, and I am a furniture artist in Indianapolis. I'm also a brand ambassador for Redesign with Prima. And today we play with all the Redesign with Prima. Well, at least Decor transfers and Decor wax. How about that? So I'm hopping onto our Instagram real quick. Live and live. So behind me you will see a little sofa table, and it's got a little paint job and some sparkle, some shimmer. Today we're going to be applying one of the newly released Decor transfers from Redesign with Prima. I want to say about a couple weeks old now, maybe. It's called Sun-Kissed. Sun-Kissed. And it's pretty sunny looking. I'll show you here in just a second. What else are we going to do? See all these details right here? All this craziness happening? We're going to kind of get this still all kind of married together using some Eternal, which is a gold decor wax from Redesign with Prima. It's the king of all gilding waxes, if you ask me. I might be a little bit biased, but at the same time, you can't go wrong with Eternal. Good old Eternal. So you can apply it with a brush, a fingertip, gloved hand, whatever, just apply it. It's the perfect gold for the deets. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna show you Sun-Kissed. Sun-Kissed. I feel like there's a jingle that goes with that for like the orange juice or something. Sun-Kissed. Isn't there a jingle? Anywho, Sun-Kissed is exactly that. It looks sun-kissed. It's got a little bit of spring-like colors, and I know, but it's fall almost, and about to be winter. If you're in Indiana, fall is like a half a day, and then it's just winter. So we mourn fall, and I like spring. So I don't care what time of year it is. It's springtime all year in my book. If you're hopping on, say hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm in Indianapolis. So far, so good. It's sunny and pretty, just like our little Sun-Kissed transfer here. Decor transfers from Redesign with Prima are pretty little graphics, words or text, flowers, there's some animals, some farmhouse, some boho, all kinds. You can paint your piece, add a little bit of transfer, add a lot of transfer, and just kick it up a notch or 5 notches. They're rub-on graphics, so they're very thin, like a skin. You can't see them once they're on there. It's like they're painted on almost, but they're not. They're a lot faster than hand painting everything. So we like efficient, right? We like efficient because time is money. So this is Sun-Kissed. Okay, see the little gold kind of outline accents there and the leaves and stuff. So I was thinking that this would look really pretty with our shimmering table here. And there's a possibility we might add in some other transfers, some wild cards, if you will, if we feel like it. So we're going to dig in, and if we feel like adding some wild cards, maybe we will, maybe we won't. It's our choice. We do what we want, right? So let's see. What do you think? Is that going to match the colors? Kind of crazy, right? I'm wondering if we add in a little bit of some of this periwinkle from another transfer, and I just maybe have one in mind. I'm kind of thinking of that would go with Sun-Kissed real well. Let's see how it goes, and we may or may not grab that other classic to add to the mix, our little layered table here. So what we're going to do is we're going to add our wheel. I got to unplug so I can switch over. We are gonna what are we gonna do? I don't even remember. We are gonna start, I guess, let's start on this side over here. We're gonna start over here on this corner, okay? So I'm gonna start kind of here, and then actually technically it'll start on the top and spill over the side, but for demonstration purposes, we're gonna go ahead and start on here so I can seal that area real quick, and then we can do our decor wax after that's dry, while we're putting this on the top. So this piece is not completely painted yet. The front that you see, everything you see like on the front, and everything that we're gonna work on today is painted and sealed, but there's some parts on the back that aren't, but I had to hop on here and, you know, we're demonstrating the Prima, not the painting, so we'll spare you that. But in case you see some spots that you're like, what? That's why it's not finished. Not finished. Not finito. So Sunkissed has some of these beautiful large clusters and then a smaller guy. Let's see what else she has in store for us. So this piece was painted in Paint Couture, and I finished it with Sheer Bliss, which is shimmery. See how it adds the shimmer to every color on there is shimmery because I added it all over. Yeah, I did it all over. I might go over some spots and hit them twice to make extra sparkle in some spots, but I don't know. We'll see. There's some little guys there. See that little pink one? So there's some different sizes, obviously different colors. And we've got kind of this blue here. So that's not really matching our blue that we have in the corner, our periwinkle. It looks kind of purple, cornflower blue, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to go ahead and start right here. We'll probably, how do we want to do this? I don't know that I'm going to have them spilling over all these beveled edges, so we probably want to kind of cluster them around here. We'll see. Let's start with the larger. So the largest cluster I think I want to use on the side is kind of maybe yay big, right? So let's find one yay big. And then some smaller ones trickling down the side. Oh my gosh, that's going to be so busy, you say. Yes, it is. And thank you. It is going to be very busy. I kind of like this cluster here. And maybe that little guy too. Let's see what yes, maybe we'll do that. And we'll have a little parts of the blue showing. And see how that looks with our periwinkle. If it doesn't look, actually, maybe this guy here. That might be more perfect. Then we can build upon this guy here instead of trying to cut off from a larger cluster. So if you haven't guessed, today we are layering Decor transfers, chop and place in, customizing, and then, like I said, our Decor wax, eternal, afterwards. So I'm going to use scissors to cut out my chunks of flowers that I want to use. You can also use a paper cutter if you're flat cutting or straight cutting anything. Like if I have one of the transfers that is just a solid print, like for example, what's one that's solid? Oh, maybe I used it all last time. There's some that are just solid, like a floral background rectangle. It's just printed solid, and you can cut it to shape. You can slap it on a drawer sides. It's more of like a solid look than clusters. Does that make sense? So it's one piece instead of all the little parts. I use a paper cutter because I can cut stripes out of the solid floral background, or you know, triangles, I guess. But I like to use a paper cutter because it's the perfect size. The one I have is 15 inches. It's a perfect size to feed that transfer right on through, and it's straight. So there's that. But I'm just going to use good old-fashioned scissors today, and I'm going to go ahead and cut that little cluster I was telling you about. Now, when I'm placing my transfers, trying to decide where exactly I want them, there's a couple things you could do. Well, okay, two obvious options. There's one, just hold it up, but then if you have multiple clusters or flowers or parts, you've got to hold them all up. You can tape them up with some tape, hold them still. So there's that. Let's see. Yeah, those are our two options. I usually just hold them up. Tape is just, that's too much effort. So I'm going to pick a couple smaller flowers to go with that. So maybe this pink one here. These are kind of watercolory, like watercolor paints, so that's kind of partly why I did this background the way I did. Kind of, sort of. Okay, so that one. And then I saw a couple little white ones I wanted to grab too. Where'd you go? There they are. I love these little white, I'm not sure exactly what they are. I'm sure somebody knows. Not me. Okay, so I think we'll start there. and see how we do. So I've got a couple of these little flowers here, little white guys, a pink guy, and a, oh, I don't think I ever actually hit live on Instagram. I never hit the button. Oh, I can't blame Facebook for that one. No? Hold on. What a silly goose. Oh, God. Okay, well, late to the game. It's okay, I only get like 3 people watching ever on Instagram anyways. If you have any questions or anything, just drop them down there. I will try to check them later, but if they don't get any, if you don't have answers to your questions, I'll try to see that and hopefully answer them if it's something I can answer. So if it's about life, I can't help you. If it's about transfers, I can probably help you. All right, so let's start with the bigger guy. Yeah, start with the big guy here. And I think we're just gonna kind of, I don't know, pop it on there and see where we go. See where it takes us. Let's see, I definitely probably want this guy, yeah, probably like that. I'm thinking. Just kind of angle him just a tad, just to here. Angle him just to here. You know what I like to grab too while I'm working with the transfers, yes, is a sharp blade or X-Acto knife or whatever you like to cut with, clean, straight, sharp lines. It's got to be sharp. Okay, you don't want to be cutting your transfers with a dull blade. That's no good. That's no good. No, it creates wrinkles and jagged edges and bleh. So I'm gonna grab that. Oh, look at that! I usually have one right here under my little stool. Ha! Okay, so because I thought of that because see how I'm tucking this right up underneath this lip. I'm using my fingernail to get it in that groove, but I could either apply it under that lip or cut it. It's just a little tiny part of a petal, like tiny. So I'm just gonna go ahead and rub it on, and it's gonna just sit up under there. No big deal. Now I want to grab my transfer tool. Where are my transfer tools? There they are, transfer tools. So I've got this wooden stick that comes with your transfer. It should come in all the tubes, if not, whoopsie daisy, but it should come in every tube, okay? And that works just fine. It works perfectly great, good, all fine and dandy. And then I've got this plastic guy. You can buy this separately. It's good for larger jobs, beveled edges in drawers or around the edge of anything. It's got this little hook so you can kind of get in that groove. I usually use my fingernail, but this is probably better. And then, hi Instagram, I'm so sorry. We hopped on, we thought you were on this whole time and you weren't. So quick rundown, we're putting on a transfer on a table, okay? I know, surprising, shocking. But it's also got this little side here for smaller areas. And as you can see, mine's been through quite the ringer. It used to be a different shape. It's kind of worn down, eroded a little bit. It's got its use. But I haven't broken it yet. This is my longest running transfer tool, so it's alive and well, and that's good. That's a good sign, right? I don't break everything. Knock on shimmer. So we're just gonna rub it on just like that. I like to go up and down and side to side. You could choose to, if you have a little kind of detail like this, like a trim, you can choose to go around it, or you can choose to cut right where it ends. I think I'm just gonna go around it. I think I would have preferred to cut it where it ends, but yeah, we'll see. You never know. Maybe we'll love it. It's gonna probably have Decor wax on it anyway, so who really knows? Okay, so I'm actually gonna use my wooden stick around this little guy here. And so around little rounded trims like this, you just want to take it like 1/8 of an inch at a time, just back and forth until you move all the way down slowly. And eventually, you'll get it all rubbed on. You can cut a relief cut. Sometimes if you're going around any kind of curve, cut you a little slit in your backing sheet, and it'll give you some relief or loosen up some of that tension on the backing sheet. Kind of like when you're sewing, you know, in a pattern under armholes. If anybody sews, you cut the little snip slits, nip slip. Right, back and forth, up and down, and then I'm applying this directly to my paint job. I happen to have my paint job as a shimmery It's not a top coat per se. It's like a shimmery, clear, transparent coat that adds shimmer to any color. So I normally will use that as my top coat because if you ever felt it, you would know it's very top coaty. Does that make sense? So I don't usually seal further, but I will for this because you do need to seal your transfer, okay? Even if you've already sealed your piece, you can still go back and add a transfer. It's not too late, but you want to reseal that, at least the transfer areas, okay? And the reason why, or not the reason why, but I guess I can tell you the reason why you seal your transfer, they will dry out. The adhesive could dry out, crack will start, it'll grow, peel, the edges will curl up and peel. It can fail if you don't seal it. Not every single time, but about 50-50 in my experience. I have some projects that I have not sealed that were just workshop demonstrations and stuff like that. I never sealed, and some of them stayed intact and some of them were, after a couple weeks, maybe a month, cracking and peeling up. So they'll dry out. You want to seal them. Clear wax, water-based sealer. You want to avoid anything oil-based directly onto your transfer. I would personally avoid lacquers or things like that that are really drying in effect, like the kind that dry. They have alcohol in them basically, or not ether, but oh, I'm not a chemist, man. Something like that. It's some kind of alcohol-based thing that dries out the transfers and it cracks and it can fail. Not every time, but some of the time. Not willing to take that chance for a percentage when we know that's going to happen. Could happen. Okay, so I'm just going to be safe and stick with my water-based sealer. I like satin, but you can use whatever sheen you want. Let's go ahead and stick this guy. Ooh, so do we put him right there, or do we put him right there? I'm thinking here because it's on a lighter background and this is a darker pink, whereas the white flowers, they could go on this darker background. Or do you think that's kind of counterintuitive? Should the lighter go on the lighter and the darker go on the darker? I don't know. Am I supposed to know this? Because I don't. Oh, let's see what it looks like real quick. You want to peel the backing sheet away pretty slowly. The little pieces like this, I just kind of rip it off, but you want to be gentle. Don't touch the adhesive on the back until you're ready to place it to the piece, and then the piece can touch it. Oh, what the heck. Let's just do it up. Let's just throw it up here, and then the leaves can spill down kind of like right off the edge. How about that? That. Up here? How about up here? We like them leaves. We like them greeneries. Mama likey greenery. So I am going to go ahead and probably cut this one because I don't want it to come up too far. So before that sticks itself to my piece, I'm going to gently cut it away. And like I said earlier, before you commit to all these locations where you're putting your transfers, you can tape them up first and see. I'm not so much a planning kind of gal. I kind of just do what looks right in the moment, and I just do it. You can always fix it. Nothing is not fixable in this whole embellishing arena. I mean, some things are much harder to fix, but it's still fixable. I'm just saying. Right, I think I like that there. Now we're just going to give it a little rub. Let's go with our little plastic jobby here. Transfer tool, or mermaid tail. I used to call it that, the mermaid tail, but they should have made them blue or green, huh? I feel like right, rubbing on. Make sure you get all up in there. Push it right up to that edge so the edge is secured. When you're applying transfers, it's very important to make sure that your edges are all on there very well. So after we peel away our backing paper, okay, if it doesn't stick, just lay it back down and rub it again, but this seems to be doing pretty good. Okay, peel it away gently. And so after we do that, we want to go over with our finger, the pad of our finger or a palm if you got a big area to do. Make sure you get up in there. Press really well, okay? This is called burnishing. Burnishing just means to rub it like vigorously, you know, or rub it really well. Burnish. Don't just rub it, burnish it. Burnish it. But you want to pop any bubbles, smooth out any wrinkles, make sure those edges are down because that's a good source of where failures will happen, like the corner, if it'll come up or not be down all the way. It only needs that little bit of tiny air underneath it, and it grows. It dries out the adhesive on the back, and it grows like mildew or mold or what are they called? Those little things, spores. It's like a spore, it just grows. Or like Pringles, once you pop, you can't stop. Once it pops, it can't stop. So I'm gonna go finish out this little doodaddy here. I think I want to come down maybe a little bit further with one or two. Maybe instead of this one, we get one slightly larger, possibly with 2 flowers. I don't know, I'm not opposed to 2. But I want to show you this pretty color I just noticed in here. I just noticed this. If you look really closely at pretty much anything, but transfers included, you see so many more colors than you just see by glancing, you know, at it. Look at this pretty little purple in there. Do you see that? Instagram, see? Purple and pink. See that? See that purple, or that pink, that's why I grabbed that Polynesian pink there, because that little bits of pink right there is just muy bueno. Maybe we're gonna grab this guy with the little cascading leafy job. I don't know. Gosh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Because I love cascading anything. It's awesome. It's so beautiful. So I don't know. That's one with, well, keep in mind. Let me just see what else we got here real quick. This one could be a good one. A good one. We got a good one right here. Maybe. You maybe got a good one. You want to be careful too with your transfers. So don't be like me and just flop them around everywhere. You want to be careful because sometimes these backing sheets are not stuck on quite as well, and they're not supposed to be stuck. They're just there to protect this adhesive on the back. So you want to keep it on there. It's not supposed to be stuck. These do not, you know, it's just there to protect the back. Some of the transfers, it's much looser than others. Like this one's actually stuck on there kind of good. But some of them are very loose, and you open up that roll or that tube out of that roll out of that tube, and you are all excited, and it just flies everywhere, and you're like, ah! Once it sticks to itself, so once this, once this adhesive sticks to itself on the back, so if my transfer flops over, rolls up, and sticks to itself, there's no bouncing back from that. So remember how I said you can fix anything? It's just not always that easy to fix. That one you just have to buy a new transfer if you want that part, or find somebody really nice enough to sell it to you or give it to you, that little chunk. See, that's a fix. Not the easiest fix or cheapest fix, but it's a fix. I can come up with a fix for anything. Just didn't say it was going to be easy. I like this little chunk down here. It's got the purps and the blues. Yeah, let's do it. Let's call in my name. Call in my name. Alright, so I want to position this so that this little corner, the purples and the blues and the pinks, is kind of poking out, or this way. So here's what I'm going to do. Instead of placing this and then cutting it with my blade, like I did, I'm gonna go ahead and take a little marker. I'm gonna go ahead and cut off this little top. See these straight lines? That is so you can cut a straight line, and I know I want to cut a straight line because this little piece I want to hack off right here, and I want it to tuck and fit right up there, okay? So if it's straight, I know it's going to be straight up in there. So now I'm going to grab a marker, and because I want to go around, let me show yous. I wonder where Jennifer is. She's supposed to open the store, I think, today. It's 12. It's Thursday, right? 12:30. Oh, good. My watch has 2 date and time settings, and I don't know what the difference are, and sometimes it hits the wrong date and time, and it confuses me very much so on some days. Yes, it does. It doesn't take a whole lot to confuse me, though, so there's that. Okay, so we're going to be careful about going around here, because remember I told you there's parts of this that were not yet ready. That would be this little guy here, this little side. So I'm just going to bring this around, but I want to cut around this this carving detail. So I'm going to grab a marker here, or pen or whatever. I use a permanent marker because this clear stuff, the acetate, you can't really use a pen or a pencil on, right? You could use one of those wax crayons or whatever, but so I'm just going to gently try to feel my way around this detail and make my cut line, or I can mark where I want it, because that's exactly where I want it. That's so I can line it back up. I just made a couple tick marks so I can line it back up. Or I can take one of my old clear acetate sheets. See? And then I can see how I can see through it? And now I can draw my line where it needs to be almost exactly, because I don't have to guess by feeling my way. You know, to make my line. It's there, like a pattern. So I could just plop it on here. Line it up to my little tick mark where I know I wanted it, and boom. Obviously, I would take a little more time to make sure it's lined up, but I'm not going to use the little thing. That's just a tip for you, see? So you could do that and cut that way. But I'm not going to do that, even though I just took the time to do it. I'm just going to go ahead and directly on here. Maybe I should. Maybe I should do that. No, maybe I shouldn't. I should. Am I going to? No, that's the question. That's the answer. Okay, so we're going to come around here. That's going to jog down in there. You have to count for this little jog down in here. See that little indentation? So I want to make sure I crease it or add a little extra 1/4 of an inch on there for what is going to get eaten up in that little crease. Yes, you could cut it to size. I like to work efficiently. We'll call it that. After I make my line, when I'm cutting this, if I'm doing it this way by kind of just feeling my way down the detail, I usually add about a 1/16 to an 1/8 of an inch onto it when I'm cutting it, so in addition to it, so it's not short. I'd rather have a little bit more than it be short. And what I mean by that is when I cut it and I fit it right up in there, because I'm going to fit it before I stick it. You got to fit it before you stick it. Right? Am I right? Well, I thought I was funny. Scissors. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that. See, okay, I'll show you what I mean. So this is my cut line. See my black line? I'm going to add about an 1/8 of an inch max, in between a 1/16 and an 1/8 of an inch onto my cut line. That way, when I go to apply it, see, first we're going to fit it. I can butt it up right up in there where it should fit, right? And if it's short, it's going to show. And I've had that happen before. I just take some paint, dab it on in the same color, and it's fine. But, I mean, it's not ideal. That's more work. So I make it just a little bit bigger, and then I kind of overlap the detail just a hair, so there's no gap, hopefully no gap in between the transfer and the edge of that detail. That is my method for that. I'm not saying it's the best or the most, I don't even know what other people do to go transfer around details. I don't know. Never asked. All right, so I gotta be real careful now because this stuff loves to stick to the sparkly goodness. It sticks like just real quick. All right, so I wanna make sure I got it lined up, overlapping just a tad if I can. And then when I'm confident it's in place-ish, yes, then I will go ahead and begin to commit and start to rub it on a little firmer to keep it in place. I'm going to cut it off a little bit more there. There we go. Okay. wasn't so bad, right? That's not so bad. Now, when you're pressing it down, you don't want to just press it down like this. You don't want to just do that. It's going to rip your transfer if you have any areas that are not flush, just like this little indent here that I was telling you to account for, add a little bit on. So it's going to go around and down into that indentation and then back out. So if I smack it on like that and I peel it away, I'm going to have to pop my transfer all the way down, and it's going to have a tear all the way down. So we're going to work our way over that way. We're going to work our way to ya. Working my way back to ya. Wait, how's that song go? Isn't there a song like that? Old song? All right, so see how this right here, this leg kind of goes up, it rounds up, and then I've got my indentation there. What am I going to do? Two different directions. See where this little flower ends and his leaves kind of start? I'm going to cut a relief cut. You don't want to just cut it all willy-nilly. You want to cut it in a spot that would look natural. So the leaves necessarily are not connected all the way to the petal of the flower. So the petal and the leaves can disconnect. So I've cut right under the petal. And so now I can stick my leaf and my petal independent of each other, but they still look good, right? No tears, no rips. Let's hope. And they look beautiful. They just look beautiful, darling. No one's like, oh, she messed up in there and ripped her transfer. Hopefully no one will say that. Because I didn't. I guess we'll use this little guy. So, I'm going to go ahead and take this and kind of run it along the seam, the little edges of my transfer where it's cut, and they need to tuck right on in there. If you're feeling very froggy and you trust yourself, you can take your blade. If you have a little bit of excess, like I just have a tiny bit of excess, I could probably stick it on there and then just Decor wax over it, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna just slice it tiny, very gently, and that's why you need a sharp blade, because if it's not sharp, you're gonna cut your paint. And that's why I said if you trust yourself. If you don't, just leave it. Paint it or wax over it. Another one here. Okay. Oop. Oop. All right. Little relief cut there. Boom. Little relief cut there. Boom. That way it can lay down flat. And then we're in business down here. Now we got to. Ooh! Ooh! I almost lost a toe. All right. So now that we got to go around this little curve, we want to just. Oh, I need one more cut. Okay, so we want to just roll the transfer right on in there so that it doesn't, we want to just inch our way over. We don't want to just slap it on there. We don't want tears or rips, okay? So we're just kind of rolling it over there, tucking it in. I'm using my fingernail. You can use your stick or your transfer tool, the edge of it, just to get it real good down in that curve, or that crevice. Do you remember what I said about the air bubbles? Once you pop, you can't stop. So once you get that air bubble, over time, it will continue to dry out that adhesive. And this would be a good culprit right here. So we want to make sure we use the edge of this to get down in that crease really well. Make sure it's stuck. Stuck. And the edge here, pretty much all over. This edge here, that edge there, every edge. So now we're going to work our way down here. Just go over it with our tool. Give it a little rubby rub. Get in those deets again if we need to. And well, I was going to seal this, and that way we could work on the details, but I'm going around all the details, so we might as well just finish out this corner and then head on into our Decor wax. Burr, 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 burr. And you peel it slowly. I try to just peel in one direction, so that's why I'm not peeling this side yet. I'm peeling, this way. So if pulled up this way, it's going to pull from here and here, and that spells disaster. Stick. Okay, so that's that. No rips, no tears. That's right. I figured I better double check before I said that. But if you would like, and I suggested, take a, I don't know, microfiber cloth or some kind of soft cloth, eyeglass white cloth, you know, the kind that come in your lenses, in your case. Sometimes they have that little soft cloth. I would take that, and I like to try to shove it down in here in these little crevices. Go over your whole transfer, pop the bubbles, smooth out wrinkles, and that way it's just a little smoother moving than your finger, so where your finger has the natural oils, it kind of could catch on some spots, and if it catches on some spots, it may pull up something, possibly. With the cloth, it just moves really smoothly over it, if it's, you know, the right kind of soft fiber. I don't have any. Mine all have chunks of dried up paint on them, my chop towels. So, my chop towels. Okay, so I think I dig it. My only concern would be the blues over there, but we'll worry about that later. Because, actually no, we'll worry about it now. I can't do it. I can't not. Sorry. Let's see your Frozen Rouge. Remember I said we might have a wild card? This would be the wild card. Just color me wild. See that little periwinkle color flowers in there? And see the little gold accents? See how they're like the sister to the Sunkissed? Actually, Sunkissed is new. This has been around for a while, so it's really like the precursor. The one with what do they call it? Seniority. Transfer. It's the transfer of seniority, which, as we all know, or we should know, seniority does not always matter, right? You gotta back it up. You gotta walk the walk. Walk the walk, not just talk the talk. All right, let me show you this periwinkle color that I saw that on there when I finished painting the little bluish colors, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, we might need some of this periwinkle from Rose and Rouge in our life. Rose and Rouge, classic, one of my favorites, one of everybody's favorites. That's why it's back, because it was retired for a while and everyone was very sad. So they brought it back, and now we're happy. But anyways, it does have those periwinkles that we need in our lives. So I'm thinking we might have to grab a little blue rose, periwinkle rose, and sprinkle it on somewhere. I don't know where exactly yet, but I do want to show you that because I think that's my plan. Look how they just go together so well. I mean, they just do. These two transfers, I mean. Let's see. I'm thinking maybe, cause see this like white area. This area right here needs broken up a little bit. It's very light right here. It needs something. It needs something to crash the party. The party's dull. It needs a little livening up of the party. So we're just gonna go ahead and cut out little periwinkle rose here. And periwinkle rose is gonna join the party, and he's gonna be the life of the party. You must be gentle. Be gentle. See what I mean? If that backing sheet flies off, whew, we're toast. Gentle, 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 gentle. Let's just go ahead and hold that down just like that. You can set weights or whatever on your transfers to hold them still so they don't roll up. Sometimes if I know I'm going to be hemming and hawing over a transfer for a while and not get to it right away, or just stare at it forever, I will roll them the opposite direction when I take them out of the tube. So, I mean, you all know what that means. The opposite direction. I'll roll in the opposite direction, let them set for just a second, work my magic by saying, please lay flat, and then I unroll it, and it lays flat. It's magic. So I want little periwinkle guy to fit right up there. See this little line right here? The little straight line for our cuts? This is what this is for. Exactly what this is for. So let's see how he looks where we want him, which is right there. What do we think? We're thinking yes. We're thinking yes. We are. So let's do it. Then we're gonna move on to decor waxing time. Then we're gonna move on to quitting time. Go and get back to work time. Well, I guess I am working, but you can get back to work. Right? Oh. Just call her a hot mess. She was a train wreck with little transfers everywhere. All right, we're gonna put that right there. What do you think? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we're doing it. We're gonna do it. We're going for it. Don't touch the adhesive. Don't touch the adhesive. And then we wanna plop. I'm going to work my way this way because if I just plop it on there, I don't want to have to worry about this little corner tearing or crevasse. There we go. Tuck it on in. Tuck it in. Tuck it in. Tuck it in. Fingernail it or transfer tool it. I should definitely tell you that. This way. Now we can bring it around town. No tears. Tear free. Tear preventative anyways. Just, yeah. Tear prevention. I can't even talk. Tear prevention and maintenance. Saves lives. Okay, I'm going to get down in that crevasse, up in that crevasse. We rub all over, so I decide up and down. Sometimes sticking transfer to transfer can be a little bit more difficult, so you might need to rub or burnish a little bit harder. But that's cool, because then you don't have to go to the gym later. You're welcome. All right, so let's see if that did the trick. Look how much better that periwinkle matches than the blue. I mean, the blue looks good too. It just adds another layer of interest and color, but that periwinkle was a must. Can get it to stick to the transfer, then it'll be good. There we go. Just needed a little bit of extra love. Loving and rubbing. Slowly. Oh, I forgot to rub the leaf. Forgot about him. I'm sorry, little leaf. I didn't mean to forget about you. All right. There. That's so much better. That little white chunk of that light area it was driving me crazy because there was no contrast, no color contrast, no dark or light contrast. It was just a white chunk. Even though there's more than one flower there, it looked like one big blob. So now it doesn't look like a blob. It looks like a blue blob. It looks better, right? Yeah, it does. It's okay. You don't have to say it. We know. We all know. It looks better now. All right, so let's get to the decor waxing and then call it a day. Let's just start right here, shall we, since it's close to us. So decor wax eternal, where are ya? Come on down. Tons in these little tubes now. You may happen to get a can or two, the little round cans, like little pucks. That's okay. Same product, but in a different shape. Personally, I like the little can, so I save mine and I squeeze the tubes in there to use usually. So I keep my cans, squeeze as I'm gonna use in there, and you know, all that jazz. But if I don't have one handy, I use the top of my transfer tube. The top or the bottom, both they're the same. They just keep the transfer in there, and then I squirt a little bit in there, what I'm gonna use from the bottom. Yes, I'm that psycho that squeezes from the middle. Yes, that's true. Unless I'm on camera, then I'm like, people are judging me because I'm squeezing from the middle. I am a 5-year-old, yes. So I squeeze a little bit. That's way more than I'll ever need. I just was talking at the same time, so I can't do two things at once. You don't need near that much. For this piece, not even close. A little goes a long way. A long way. My first little jar or can of decor wax lasted me 1.5 years, and I used it on almost everything. Okay, 1.25 years. And I used the Decor wax on almost every single piece that I did, almost. And it lasted me that long. So that will probably last like 6 months. Okay, not 6 months. One. All right, so I'm just gonna dab, dab, dab with my little brush. The reason why I got such a big brush is because I'm gonna do, first I'm gonna do these bigger kind of trim molding type deals, but they're not moldings, they're carvings. So the bigger the trim, the bigger the molding, the bigger the brush or finger. When I started using Decor wax or gilding waxes of any sort, I strictly used my finger. But I realized that some types need, are easier with a brush or need a brush. Plus my fingers were always gold. No, I didn't use, I did use a glove sometimes, but only for painting, not for waxing. Is that weird? All right, so I got this very, 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 very light on the wax here. I mean, like I dipped it in and then I'm just trying to get as much excess off as I can. It doesn't take much, I'm telling you. Telling you. Believe you me. So I'm just gonna start gently on the edge of this guy here. Okay. And you can paint basically your details with the wax. You can cover them all in wax. You can accent them. You can, you know, whatever you want. You can stencil with it. I like to just kind of graze the tops of, like, say these details or carvings. Sometimes I'll just full on go for it with, you know, get them all gold. And sometimes I just like to graze the tops, and I'll show you what I mean. So what I do is I get a little bit on my brush, and for smaller details, obviously I would use a smaller artist brush or my finger, but I get tired of everything being gold, okay, let me rephrase that. I get tired of my fingers getting gold wax on everything. Everything. Food, clothes. So see how I'm just lightly, I have my brush kind of at as parallel as I can get it to my piece, a surface of my piece, and I'm just kind of grazing those tops. Okay, sometimes you might have to modify that angle just a little bit. However, and I'm just showing you on this little corner. I still need to seal my transfer, but I'm not going to seal my wax. Now, I usually do this as my last step. So after I seal, I do my gilding wax. However, if I am doing a demo or I forgot or something happened or whatever reason I would have, you can seal over the gilding wax or Decor wax. You just want to make sure it's completely cured. So it'll be dry in a matter of, I don't know, minutes. However, I like to give it at least overnight because it is oil-based. It's a faster drying oil-based product, but you still want to make sure it's fully cured, completely cured. You don't want to go for it right away that's sealing. You get smudging or hazy, like, you know, your top coat will turn it all hazy because it'll grab just little bits of that wax. So I would, if you are really wanting to be safe, give it a couple days, especially if it's humid, but at least overnight, and then you can seal over it. And you can brush seal it. I would just be gentle, you know, because if you go at it too hard, anything really, you could, you know, kind of screw that up. So let it dry, don't go ham, and then you can seal after. But I like to seal before because I don't want to take that chance of messing it up if I haven't let it cure enough, or, you know, if I'm using a flat sealer or something else, I don't want to dull my sparkle. I don't want to dull my wax and sparkle. Where the heck is Jen? That must be her. My back door bell is not ringing, or my back door alarm is not working for some reason. That doesn't mean come rob me. Don't come rob me, because I'm about to fix it when I get off this video. Okay, so see, I'm just kind of doing accents here. I'm not going to take this wax and go over the entire trim. You can do that. That's totally fine. But I like to just do accents here and there. So a little bit here, a little bit there, boom. Okay, finger. See how I use my finger too? Just make sure you don't touch the rest of your piece and get gold where you don't want it, like I just did. If you do get gold where you don't want it, A, if you've sealed first, it makes it that much easier to wipe it off before it dries. B, if you haven't or it dries and you realize it later, you can take a little bit of mineral spirits or a little bit of clear wax, like the kind you seal pieces with, and go over it just like an eraser, gently. Worst case scenario, you let it dry and then just touch up, paint that little spot. Done it. Been there, done that. Worked out fine. So I'm just gently doing some of those details. And then my little acanthus sleeves, is that what these are called? Acanthus? can't this today. I can't this. Just little bits. Because I still want to see that color that I put on there, you know, and accented with, so just dabs, raising the top. See how I'm almost parallel to the surface, but not quite. Front doorbell's working. Who's that? You can use your finger if you have a little spot that's not as smooth as you like it, or it's got some crazy lines or brush strokes. You can just take your finger and smooth it on out. Smooth it on out. Sometimes the finger is the best. Sometimes a finger is a wiener. I mean, winner, not wiener. That's what I meant. Yeah. Finger. That was terrible. That was a stretch, even for my fingers. So, anyways, I will continue the details just like that. At least once I get them all done and painted and ready to go. But for now, that's all she wrote. So look how fun that is. This is one of my favorite parts of what I do, 100%, because it's so relaxing. I mean, unless you got 1,000 kids screaming around you, but who paints with 1,000 kids screaming around them? No, thank you. Don't ruin it for me. Don't ruin this for me, kids. I'm just kidding. I love my kids. They like to paint too, so it doesn't bother me when they're around them painting, usually. So I'm gonna let that dry a while, and anyways, yeah, this is the therapeutic part. So I haven't gotten off here yet because I'm like into it. I'm in my zone. My mouth is just moving, but I'm asleep. Not really. Okay, so I'm just gonna finesse this a little bit, kind of use my thumb to blend it all in right into there and make it look pretty. And then, you know, so on and so forth, right? Boom. So get you some transfers, layer them, get you some Decor wax, apply it. And tune in next Thursday, noon, live, redesign, products, CeCe. See you then. So see you later, Instagram. And after a while, Facebook.